Hello, welcome to quick demonstration and how you can suppress section on printed document template. So this is to essentially hide a particular area on a printed document. In this example or in this scenario wherein you would like to hide certain area on the printed document wherein the transaction currency is the same as the base currency. So which means that maybe you would like to show that typically the original transaction amounts then in a transaction currency, and would also like to show the base currency of that transaction. But then again, if the transaction currency and the base currency are the same, so the amounts will just be the same. So might as well just show might be just the transaction currency. But if the transaction currency is different from the base currency, for you to be able to see the distinction there or the conversion, maybe you would like to show those separate amounts. So we can just have a look at the example later on as well. All right, so with this solution, it has the following assumptions. In this case, we will be doing a transaction, which is an AR sales invoice. The base currency of the transaction or of the entity is SGD, while the transaction currencies involved are USD, which is different from the base currency. And we will also be sampling SGD as well as a transaction currency, which is the same as the base currency of the entity. All right. In this case, we will only be showing the formula applied on the net column of the total section of the printed document template. So just to reiterate, if the transaction currency is USD, in this case, the base currency and the base currency amount are shown, right? But if the transaction currency is SGD, base currency and base currency amount are hidden. It's all because we know that since transaction currency is the same as the base currency, then it's pointless to show both the transaction currency and the base currency, right? And PDFs of the AR sales invoices are printed in this case. All right, so in this case, let's look at the printed document template. So the printed document template is using a formula. So merge field currency format is SGD. Then we're talking about the net amount, so what we said in the assumption. If the currency, right, is equal to SGD, which is the same as the base currency, then display blank, essentially. If not, then show base currency in there. And similar as well, if the base currency or if the currency is equal to SGD, just blank. If not, do the calculation in there, right, which is the merge field gross amount multiplied by the exchange rate to get the base amounts equivalent, right? So if you can download this um, original PowerPoint presentation, you'll be able to have a look at this formula through the sample printed document template in here. All right, so let's have a look at the examples quickly. So in this case, the original or the USD transaction. So which means that, so you can see here, the transaction currency is in USD, and we know that this is an SGD entity. So as what you can see here, the transaction amount is 934,102.74 USD, while the base currency is in SGD, which is 1.93, 1.193, right? So we will have a look at this printed document template in there. And if we go back again to the template, right? So we'll only be showing, so this area in here will be your transaction currency and the transaction net amount. So if it's SGD, then just blank, right? But if not, then we have to display the base currency, which is SGD, and the equivalent SGD amount of the USD transaction. All right, so let's have a look again. So this is the original sales invoice. The first instance transaction currency is USD, and we would like to show that on the printed document template. So if you print the document template, you will be seeing in here. So the first area in here will be your SGD, right? Or USD rather, USD, just like this one here. The USD amount in there, which is 934,102.74. And we have the area in here, which is SGD equivalent, which is the amount here multiplied by the exchange rate. So we have the SGD in there, but it's dynamically determined essentially. All right, so if looking at this one here, since the transaction currency USD is different from the base currency, then we are seeing both figures. One for the original transaction currency, which is USD, and the other is the base currency amount. But let's have a look here at when a transaction currency is the same as the base currency, in this case SGD. All right, so transaction currency is SGD. As well, you can see the transaction amount is the same as the base amount. Then maybe it's pointless to show both areas, right? We have the transaction currency and base currency because they're just one and the same. So might as well just choose transaction currency. So the formula in there will kick in. So if we try to print that, yeah, we'll only be seeing the SGD amount there, SGD 500, right? And it's the same as SGD base currency, but in this case, since we have the formula, so if the base currency is equal to SGD, then just leave it blank, essentially. So blank for the base currency, which is the same as the transaction currency, which is SGD, and the net amount as well. The net amount in transaction currency is the same as base currency. So might as well just hide those fields there. Hide the base currency, which is SGD, and the equivalent base currency amount, which is the same anyways as the transaction currency. That's why, so you can see here, those areas are blank compared to the previous example. So yep, so hopefully this quick demonstration helps on how you can essentially hide certain areas of printed document templates. In this case, I'm hiding the base currency amount if the base currency or the transaction currency is the same as the base currency. Hope this helps. Thank you.